Tonight on KGW News, police stop a stolen vehicle and find a surprise behind the wheel. Plus, keeping shooters away from students. Why the city says new traffic barriers could be a solution.
I think anything we need to do to reduce gun violence is a good thing.
And later, the return of Friday Night Hoops as high school basketball takes center stage. Your news starts now.
The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Well, you heard it there. Breaking tonight after 5 days and 15 grueling votes, the House and its Republican majority have finally elected a new House Speaker. California Congressman Kevin McCarthy reaching the critical threshold after midnight Eastern time, breaking a dramatic deadlock for Capitol Hill and the country. Now, within the last hour, McCarthy took the gavel and addressed the chamber saying, quote, "Now the hard work begins." One of the key questions for both Republicans and Democrats, the concessions he made to a far-right group of GOP lawmakers and what that will mean moving forward. The 15th vote was the clincher, but take a look at how ugly it got during the 14th. Alabama Congressman Mike Rogers actually had to be physically held back from Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. In the end, Gaetz and other GOP holdouts changed their votes to present, allowing that threshold to be lowered and McCarthy to be elected. This was the longest speaker contest in 164 years. We'll see what it means for the next two. Well, thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm David Molko. In local headlines tonight, the Rose City and Portland Public Schools are trying something new when it comes to efforts to curb gun violence. After recent gunfire near multiple campuses, officials have created a solution they hope will prevent, or at the very least deter, future drive-by shootings. Catherine Cook shows us how.
Slowing down traffic. That's the goal behind these new barriers outside Jefferson High School. You'll find them along North Commercial Avenue between Killingsworth and Alberta. They form choke points, forcing just one car to pass through at a time. Portland Public Schools asked for the barriers. Portland's Bureau of Transportation teamed up with the city's Community Safety Division to put them in. They say it's a response to recent gun violence near the school. Last fall, police responded to 2 shootings near Jefferson that left 2 students injured.
I've heard them. Yeah, it's really disturbing.
Tom Kramer lives in the neighborhood. He's glad to see the barriers.
I think anything we need to do to reduce gun violence is a good thing, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
So I don't know how much of the drive-by shooting. I think it was more so just to slow down the traffic.
Either way, Kenny Montague is pleased by what he's seen so far. His 2 sons go to Jefferson and he coaches here. He's been waiting a while to see safety improvements around the school.
I see they trimmed the trees. Before, these trees weren't trimmed, so at dark, it was very, very dark. There wasn't lights over here. So they are trying to change some things.
Gun violence near schools is not unique to this neighborhood. In December, police responded to a shooting outside Cleveland High School that left a teen injured. And this isn't the first time the city has tried traffic calming methods to curb gun violence. A little over a year ago, PBOT installed these orange barrels in the Mount Scott Arleta neighborhood in southeast Portland. They hoped they would slow cars down that might have been involved in a crime. Back at Jefferson.
I know parents, coaches, we've all been out here doing our very best to try to do what we can.
The city says these installations are just temporary. They plan to study how they work. If they're no longer needed, they'll take them down.
Let's hope they work. Police are still investigating the shooting outside Jefferson and Cleveland. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Portland Police Bureau. David.
Catherine Cook reporting tonight. Thank you, Catherine. We've got some new information tonight about a teacher arrested for allegedly sexting a student. Shelley Leatherwood, a teacher at Mountain View High in Vancouver, appeared in court today. She was already facing a charge of communication with a minor for immoral purposes. Today, another was added, attempted sexual misconduct with a minor. Leatherwood was ordered not to have any contact with minors as she awaits trial. Evergreen Public Schools have placed her on leave. Police, meanwhile, are asking any other students who may have had inappropriate contact to come forward. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Southeast Division is back open after a deadly crash involving a pedestrian this evening. The victim, a woman, was hit by a car near 168th Avenue. It is not clear if she was in a crosswalk at the time. The driver stayed at the scene. In Brush Prairie, a teenager was also hit by a car, this one near Prairie High School. Washington State Patrol say a 14-year-old was crossing State Route 503 around 2:30 this afternoon, but not in a crosswalk. Authorities say traffic in one lane slowed for her, but she stepped out in front of a car in a second lane. Police say the teen suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to the hospital. And 2 children are home safe tonight after a Portland police officer found them driving a stolen car. Around 1:15 this morning, police say an officer saw 2 cars speed out of a fast food parking lot. The officer then determined one of those cars was stolen and stopped it near North Kirby and Rosa Parks Way. Inside, they found a 10-year-old driver and 13-year-old passenger. The children were taken back to their guardians, and the stolen car was returned to its owner. And with that, a piece of history disappears before our eyes as crews began demolishing the old Portland Korean church. Authorities say the building was deliberately set on fire earlier this week, making it so unsafe. Really, there was no other option. Dozens of people watched today as the work got underway, some hoping to preserve or salvage some of the history at this corner of Southwest Clay and 10th. You might remember a 3-alarm fire tore through that building downtown Tuesday night, leaving essentially a burned out shell, though firefighters were able to save the house next door.
There was only exterior charring. They made entry into the home and they were fighting the fire at the church through an elevated position through the home's window. The home is moderately damaged as a result, just some charring on the outside, but an incredible save. I mean, I know we're only on January, the 6th? It's still the save of the year, for sure. They did a great job.
Yes, they did. The suspect, by the way, appeared in court yesterday. 25-year-old Nicolette Storr, who identifies as a woman, told detectives she heard voices telling her to light the fire. Storr also reported taking oxycodone. Well, a key traffic alert tonight. I-84 now closed in both directions at the I-205 interchange. This is for TriMet construction. This is the highlighted section on the map. There is what we're talking about there. So westbound drivers, you can detour onto I-205 in either direction. Eastbound drivers, you're going to be detoured onto I-205 South, or you can get off before exit 6 and take Surface Street. So this section of the highway is going to reopen at 4 on Sunday morning, so closed all day tomorrow.